President Trump securing a new trade deal with South Korea today, boosting America's auto exports, limiting imports of South Korean steel. The original trade deal with South Korea, which was created by former President Obama, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton back in 2012, has been nothing short of disastrous. The U.S. trade deficit with South Korea has soared since then from $16 billion to nearly $23 billion last year. My next guest says the original South Korea trade deal was one of the worst in American history. And joining us tonight, a man who certainly knows about trade deals, a key architect of the president's America First trade policy, Peter Navarro, Director of Trade, Industrial Policy, Director of the White House National Trade Council. Peter, great to have you with us.
Hey, Lou, my friend. A day for the history books. The top three worst deals in American history. You got at the top the China getting into the WTO in 2001. Number two is NAFTA. And then number three, this one here that was done by Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama in 2012, as you said. In the opener, all we did was double our trade deficit and hammer our auto industry. And the president during the campaign was committed to renegotiating it. And guess what? Promises made, promises kept. History made today.
Well, it's wonderful, and congratulations. And looming, let's go to NAFTA first and foremost. Our friends in Canada and Mexico. The president just fumes whenever he even has to mention the term NAFTA. How close are we to reconciling that and establishing reciprocal, balanced, fair trade as the president wants?
Well, Lou, I always stay in my lane, and we have the best trade negotiator in the last 30 years, and Ambassador Robert Lighthizer. He's running that. I think they've gone through 6 rounds now. He's hopeful we can get a fair deal, but I think it's worth looking at the Korea deal a little bit because it does give us some glimpses of how things can be. And you know, one of the things that happened with the Korea deal today is this notion of free and fair trade, where you tear down the barriers, the non-tariff barriers. One of the things the Koreans were doing so that they could send us 20 cars for every one we sent them was they would put these standards in, environmental and safety standards, which were unique to Korea. We had these cars going over there that were safe and clean, but then Korea would impose these additional standards on.
So how many more cars will be going from here to there as a result?
Well, one of the things we got lifted...
Let's keep you in your lane. I want more cars in South Korea.
Well, the president wants more cars. 80% of the deficit with South Korea is cars and auto parts. So what happened was the quota got lifted from 25 to 50,000 per manufacturer. So over 200,000 cars potentially are able to go that way. Now, what's important is you also got to lower those non-tariff barriers. And guess what? Here, this is subtle, Lou, but this is the sneaky stuff that happens. So if you send like a Ford to Korea, you couldn't import the auto parts very easily to repair that car.
But
so Koreans wouldn't buy it. But now we can do that.
Peter, you fixed all of this. You fixed all of this.
We fixed all of this.
Now let's get to what you're going to fix next.
Let's talk about
let me lay out the map. Let me lay out the map.
I love it.
How about the European Union? $150 billion deficit. We're looking at China. Tariffs, and we're talking about a trade-off. The president has made what I think is a terrific and bold initiative. Turning to China and saying, look, just show us how you're going to reduce that trade deficit by $100 billion a year. Are we still hearing crickets from China?
Actually, Ambassador Lighthizer and Secretary of the Treasury Mnuchin are engaged in talks. The challenge here, of course, is that we have China basically stealing not only our intellectual property and technologies, but that of the rest of the world. And more subtly, it's this forced technology transfer, Lou. And your viewers really need to understand that if an American company or European company wants to go to China, get access to that big market they're always dangling in front of us, guess what? Joint venture, and you got to surrender your technology. It's a recipe for disaster. So that's what's on the table.
Forced technology transfers, little things like when Boeing gets to sell an airplane in China, they get to let the Chinese have all of the intellectual property, and as they roll up the blueprints and start production of the wing, the tail, and the nose in China.
And you know why
this
that's
stuff has been going on for decades. There's nothing subtle about it. This is straightforward theft. It's 3,000 at last count, 3,500 front companies in this country stealing our military, our business, technology, and latest innovations. Now, I don't see anything subtle about it.
And this is the only president, basically, that's had the courage to stand
Absolutely.
up. And we're trying to engage the allies on this. It is really amazing that around the world, from Japan to Germany, all throughout Europe, that they let the Chinese get away with that. Because here's what happens. If you
I'm
have
sorry,
an American,
Peter, I'm just crushed on time.
All right.
But we will do that around the world tour with you the next time. How's that?
You're the man, Lou.
Oh, no, you're the man, and congratulations on that new deal. We appreciate it.
Take care.